I'm the dude. So that's what you call me.
Are you a virgin?
Yeah, not since I was 10.
Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret.
Come on to the coast. We get together, have a few laughs.
Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room.
Can I return it if it doesn't fit?
It always fits. Eventually.
Welcome back to Movie Mingle. I'm Caveman.
And I'm Maggie.
And we're on to episode 40.
40! Bum, 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 bum. We've done 40 episodes.
It's like your age.
Dang, just call me out like that.
Oh, you're proud to be 40.
I am proud to be 40.
You're so happy to be 40.
Yes. Yeah, 40 episodes.
40 episodes.
Of our regular episodes.
Of course.
We've done quite a few more than that because thanks to our bonus episodes and little like random, tidbits that we've dropped over the last 7 months or so. 8 months now.
What month is it?
It's November.
Oh, it's November.
So yeah, 8 months now. I'm very proud that we've gotten to 40. I know that most new podcasts barely make it past their like 5th to 10th episode, let alone in the 40s.
Well,
and beyond. That's pretty great.
Episodes past, we've talked about what we're going to do in season 2. Mm-hmm. And I don't even know if there is going to be a season 2.
No, we don't.
Not for sure. But my main goal is just to get these 75 done.
Yeah, which, considering we're more than halfway there, I don't see why we wouldn't, short of any major catastrophes in our life. That was me knocking on wood, nobody knocking on the door.
Let us in.
That's the Popo. Run. Here come the fuzz. Anyways, happy 40th episode, Caveman.
Happy 40th. So we're doing Toy Story 3 from 2010.
Yes, we are. And I was a little nervous to rewatch this movie. Because I didn't want to cry.
Good luck.
Yeah, right. It's a fucking Pixar movie. Good luck. Those people work off my tears. They're paid in my tears.
So Toy Story 3 was written and directed by Lee Unkrich, which of course it was.
Yeah, of course it was. He did all of them,
talked about, he did.
Yeah.
He either wrote, produced, or directed most of Pixar's work from the beginning all the way till present. He's still working on stuff. His last one he worked on was the Lightyear movie. Mm-hmm.
Which was cute.
Yeah, it was
I enjoyed
fun.
it. Yeah,
it was a fun movie.
Why wouldn't he work on the Lightyear movie too? Also, it is a Toy Story tie-in.
But his main directed movies were Monsters Inc.,
Mm-hmm.
Finding Nemo, Toy Story 2, 3, and Coco.
We have to watch Coco, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Oh, speaking of crying.
There were some other writers on this, and I say writers, they're more like they're just part of the creative team, like John Lasseter. John Lasseter's not writing screenplays. He's a creative consultant. Same thing with a lot of what Andrew Stanton does. We talked about him before because he has also worked on most Pixar movies. He wrote 10 of them. At least. And so the three of these guys worked on Toy Story 3 and all the other Toy Stories, past and future. Toy Story 3 is the best of the Toy Stories.
Is it?
Well, okay. Toy Story 1 is amazing.
Yeah. It's a little hard to watch because the animation is so dated when you watch it. And obviously now it is, because the shit that that Pixar has been able to do.
Pixar or even Disney's animation.
Yeah, it's incredible, but it's still a great story. I think Toy Story 2 might be my favorite of the Toy Story stories.
Wow.
I don't know, it's been a hot minute since I've seen that one.
I like the Toy Stories main story.
Yeah, Toy Story 1 has the best main story.
Because even Toy Story 3 has a great fun story, but it's very different than the other two.
Yes.
But it's also it was written like it was the last one.
Yes.
Even though 4 is on Disney Plus and 5 is being created right now.
Which unnecessary considering how perfectly this movie was ended.
Yeah, and I've said it before. I got through half of Toy Story 4 and I still haven't finished it.
I haven't even started
I have never not finished a Pixar movie.
Yeah.
I either have seen most of them in theaters, or when they come out to Disney Plus, we watch them right there.
Yeah, Toy Story 4 is just doesn't exist in our household. I don't even like that I've got a fucking on Disney Dreamlight Valley when you get Buzz and Woody as characters, it's their Toy Story 4 like personas, and I'm sort of like, God damn it, guys, really? You gave me, of all things, a camper van for Buzz to live in? Like, where am I going to put this? And my vote's so shoved into a corner somewhere.
The music for Toy Story 3 was done by Randy Newman, of course, because he worked on the last two. He, unlike the other ones, he actually composed and conducted the music for this.
Oh.
And performed.
Yeah.
Like, he did it all. Toy Story 3 is certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. It has a 98% from critics.
Yeah, that's not right.
Should. And only a 90 from audiences.
Yeah, I can see that.
I can kind of see it, whatever.
I mean, I don't agree with it, but I can see it.
Sure. It was made for $200 million. $200 million.
That's a lot.
We've talked about before, I don't remember which movie it was that we were talking about. The budget for it was so massive, and we essentially came to the conclusion it's because it's Disney and they can make a movie for $200 million and it's just animation.
Mm-hmm. And because they're going to get it back.
They
there's no way they're not. Oh, I mean, unless it's Wish, and then they're not going to get it back. But that movie had other things going for it.
Well, let's see how Toy Story 3 did. It made $415 million just from domestic sales.
Yeah, so it made it back.
It made $654 internationally, and it made $260 million on home media.
God damn it!
So it made $60 more than its production just in home media.
God damn.
For a total of $1.3 billion.
Woo!
Toy Story 3 won 2 Oscars.
Yeah.
Best Animated Feature.
Of course.
Of course, because
what else was going to... I'm sure you know what else it went up against, but like what was going to beat it?
An original song by Randy Newman, We Belong Together, also won an Oscar that year.
Yeah, all right.
The other animated movies that were nominated were How to Train Your Dragon, the first one, which is a fantastic movie. And
that is a series I want to rewatch.
Part of me would actually argue that the How to Train Your Dragon trilogy is better than the Toy Story trilogy.
I see the pain in your face.
Because I know right. I can hear people yelling.
Yeah. Well, I know. I mean, look, they brought different things to, film history, right? Like the Toy Story trilogy is a different story. It is a different path. It is, and not just what the actual story of the trilogy is, but like the making of the trilogy is completely different than How to Train Your Dragon's story, right?
Sure. They're different stories.
Well, yeah, not just what the actual tale of the whole thing is, but just the creation of it, where it came from, where it went, its fan base, all of it. Sure. The Toy Story trilogy has a just completely definite, concrete importance to the history of animation. Without Toy Story,
computer animated,
without the first Toy Story, you're never getting How to Train Your Dragon. But if you're going from what the story is, the A to Z of the actual canon story of Toy Story. Stop saying sorry. Stop saying story. It's not even a real word anymore. God.
What you're saying is Toy Story has a more historical significance, and I say How to Train Your Dragon has a more story-wise, movie-wise, animation-wise.
Yes.
Well, maybe not animation-wise.
No, but at least
story
from A to Z. Yeah, I would
overall
agree with you, but it's been so long since I've seen both Toy Story 2 and all the How to Train Your Dragon movies that
How to Train Your Dragon movies will definitely make you cry. So besides How to Train Your Dragon, the other movie that was nominated, of which there were only 3, the third one was The Illusionist. And I'm not talking about Edward Norton's movie.
I was about to be like, wait, animated films?
This was from the same people who worked on the Triplets of Belleville.
Yeah, oh yeah. So some sort of weird French
film.
So
yeah, it was made in France, but it takes place in Scotland.
Okay.
And yeah, it's old school, 2-dimensional, hand-drawn animation. Looks beautiful. Looks like a movie that I'd probably enjoy. The Triplets of Belleville we had talked about because it lost to Finding Nemo.
Mm-hmm. Which, like, I mean, I'm sorry, fancy art house French film fans out there, but like, when a movie goes up against a Pixar movie, especially a good Pixar movie.
Yeah.
And
we're not saying that these French animated films are bad.
They're not saying
way.
they're bad at all. I mean, they got nominated for an Oscar. That's huge. But it's not going to win over a Pixar film. Like, there's a while there where Pixar was mopping the fucking floor with the best animated film Oscar. So it's just one of those things. It's like any movie that went up against The Return of the King. Like, sorry, guys. It's not happening.
But it is funny because it was like Triplets of Belleville was made. And then 9 years later, they tried again. I mean, I'm sure they had their own success, but as far as like the Oscar competition of 9 years later, they come back to the Oscars again, but up against another Pixar movie that just dominates. Because that's what Pixar movies used to do. They don't really, when animated films nowadays go to the Oscars, it's not always a guarantee.
Yeah, no, but then again, it's mainly because Pixar has fallen a bit in terms of what its quality is, right? Like, Onward was never going to be as good of a movie as Toy Story 3.
Well, and it's not even, I don't even think it's like Pixar's fault, really. I think it's Disney wanting Pixar to just pump these things out.
The more you can do, the more...
They have like 3 or 4 films being animated at the same time, so that every year there's a Pixar film, whereas it used to be you see a Pixar film and then a couple of years later you might get a Pixar film again.
Yeah, they took their time with it and it showed versus them pumping one out once a year, which
just this last Oscars you had Elemental being Pixar's big movie.
It
was their movie. It was nominated. It was the only movie that they had.
Yep.
And
it was a fine film.
It was fine,
but it was fine.
But I remember it was barely talked about. It was barely. There wasn't a lot of advertisement for it that I saw. And then Boy and the Heron.
Yeah, why aren't they going to give it to that? Like
a Japanese film that's hand drawn. I talked about Randy Newman's song "We Belong Together" won the Oscar that year.
Oh yeah, what was it up against?
Tangled's "I See the Light."
Oh, that's a great song.
Really is.
Tangled is a better movie than Toy Story 3.
Tangled is a better movie than Toy Story 3. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nothing against... I mean, I love Toy Story 3.
Yeah, Toy Story 3 is a great film. But Tangled is flawless. It's my third favorite Disney movie, but it's oftentimes either my first or my second, depending on the mood that I'm in. Kind of mixing up there with Lady and the Tramp and Beauty and the Beast. Like, it's those three constantly, kind of fumbling around for each other. Followed very quickly by Frozen 2. Oh, God.
And this was also a year where Toy Story 3, an animated film, got to be nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah.
This was the first year that we've talked about this before as well. This was the first year that they introduced 10 nominees for the Best Picture category. And where I went to AMC theaters and watched over 2 weekends, 2 days, over a 2-weekend period, watched 5 movies one day and 5 movies the other. We got King's Speech, Black Swan, The Fighter, Inception, The Kids Are All Right, 127 Hours, The Social Network, Toy Story 3, True Grit, and Winter's Bone.
An Inception one? Or...
King's Speech won that year.
Yeah, that's right.
And that brings us to the cast.
Oh, the good old cast.
A lot of people coming back, of course, to reprise their roles. Tom Hanks as Woody, Tim Allen as Buzz Lightyear, Joan Cusack as Jessie from Toy Story 2, Don Rickles as Mr. Potato Head.
No, wait, that was Don? Why did I think it was George Costanza? Why did I think it was Jerry Stiller?
Oh, I don't know why you thought that was Jerry Stiller.
Maybe it's because it's Estelle.
It's Don Rickles.
No, I was thinking because of who plays Mrs. Potato Head is George Costanza's wife. And in my head, I would never mind.
You're like, they always have to be together?
Kind of, they always have to be together.
They have temper on their side. They're yelling, and then one day, they're all gone.
What about your side? Your cousin Henny? She was sickly from the moment I met her.
Don't you talk about Henny!
So I guess you two are the lucky ones.
So far.
Wallace Shawn as Rex.
Oh, Wallace Shawn.
John Ratzenberger as Ham.
Oh.
Estelle Harris as Mrs. Potato Head. We saw her for just a moment in Toy Story 2, not a really big part.
Mm-hmm.
John Morris coming back to play Andy. Jodie Benson, I believe, played Barbie in Toy Story 2. Laurie Metcalf, we had talked in another episode, I think when we did Lady Bird, we talked about the fact that she has played Andy's mom since Toy Story 1. Unfortunately,
Jim
Varney is not playing Slinky Dog.
No.
Instead, it's Blake Clark, who's a character actor who's been around forever. Does a great job sounding like Slinky Dog.
Because Jim Varney passed away due to cancer.
Yeah.
We lost Ernest. Ernest goes to heaven.
Yeah. Too bad we never got to see that movie.
Yeah. Although, shocking.
I don't think we've talked about Ernest before, really.
No.
But I grew up on Ernest movies.
I did too. Yeah. No.
Ernest Goes to Jail. Ernest Goes to Camp. Ernest Scared
Stupid, I think is the one I remember the most. I remember the monsters in Ernest Scared Stupid very well.
The monster scared the shit out of me when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But I still watched it because I liked Ernest. And I believe that's it for all of our recurring... Oh, Arlie Remy plays Sarge, the toy soldiers leader. As far as I know, I think that is all the recurring characters from past Toy Stories. This movie, we get some new characters like Lotso, the fun-loving bear, who's maybe not so fun and loving anymore, played by Ned Beatty. We got Michael Keaton coming in, playing Ken.
Which is just so good. Just so fun.
Oh, I love his Ken so much. More of Estelle Harris in this one as Mrs. Potato Head, as like actually part of the troupe.
Mm-hmm.
Emily Rix Hahn playing Bonnie. Like we just said, Blake Clark had to come in and do Slinky Dog. Bud Lucky. Bud Lucky played Winnie the Pooh originally.
Yeah.
Then later,
Jim Cummings
did. But Bud Lucky plays Chuckles the clown.
Oh, yeah. Poor Chuckles.
Bay Miller plays Molly. Javier Fernandez Pena gets to play Spanish Buzz, which I love Spanish Buzz.
I love Spanish Buzz.
Timothy Dalton gets to play Mr. Pickle Pants, or Prickle Pants. He is a hedgehog. Hedgehog or...
Porcupine?
Porcupine.
I don't think they really ever say. It's,
really.
It's 6 of 1 kind of there.
Do hedgehogs, are they prickly?
Yes.
I know Sonic is. Sonic is a buzzsaw. He can cut through anything.
Oh, fucking goddamn it. I know that hedgehogs are a little prickly, but they're not as prickly as porcupines.
So maybe it was a porcupine.
Yeah.
But yeah, Timothy Dalton in there.
Kristen Shaw.
Kristen Shaw is playing the Triceratops.
Unmistakably, Kristen Shaw is there.
Trixie the Triceratops.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, her voice, love her voice. Whether it's Bob's Burgers or
anything. Yeah, she's just somehow always there in a lot of stuff, and it's just great to see her no matter what.
Jeff Garland plays Buttercup.
Mm-hmm.
Whoopi Goldberg plays Stretch.
Whoopi Goldberg?
Yeah.
I don't think I knew that.
Stretch.
Yeah, the octopus, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leon Critch even gets to do some additional voices, but nothing specifically said.
He was the voice of the monkey.
Like just making the monkey noise?
Yes, and he's also the voice of whatever the toy is that's like, new toys are here when they arrive at the daycare.
I should also say Jeff Pigeon is also reprising a role from Toy Story 2 as playing the 3 green aliens.
Oh. One thing that so it's been a long time since I've seen Toy Story 3. It's easily been the better part, if not an entire decade, since I've watched this movie. I remember seeing it in theater with you. It came out in the summer shortly before our firstborn was born. I was very pregnant sitting. I want to say that we saw this movie around Mother's Day. Because if memory serves, like we saw this movie on or around Mother's Day weekend, because I remember being like, oh, this is like kind of my first Mother's Day because I'm about to be a mom. And here we are seeing Toy Story 3. And oh my God, it made me cry my fucking face off. But yeah, being very pregnant, very hormonal, this movie made me cry a lot. And my lasting memory of it is both the Inferno scene and the ending. The rest of it, I vaguely remember, like, oh, the toys go off to a daycare and Andy gets rid of them or doesn't or whatever. And, Woody's got to fight his way back to his kid again. Which I guess that's the other thing about the Toy Story movies is it's always Andy fighting his way back to his kid. I never lost toys that regularly as a child, personally. But I was kind of shocked watching this movie again recently how quickly they just get after it. This movie is like an hour 47. It's supposedly the longest of the 3 Toy Story films. And there's just no wasted time. They just fucking get at it. And off it goes. Which is great. It's nice just seeing... There's no filler. There's no long shots of people walking. It's just fucking right into it. Within 10 minutes, Andy's supposedly getting rid of the toys, and the toys are like, well, fuck him. He doesn't want us. We don't want him. And then they storm off. I was pleasantly surprised at just how quickly this movie just got to the story.
I really love the intro on this movie. It reminds me of the second movie opens with Buzz Lightyear, like an actual Buzz Lightyear video game. It turns out it's a video game, but it looks like you're watching like a actual Buzz Lightyear story unfold in front of you, and him infiltrating Zorg's base and fighting him, but then getting killed by him. And then that's when you realize that Rex and Ham, I think, are playing the Buzz Lightyear video game. But in this one, you get this really great moment of just a kid playing with his toys, but in a way where you don't see the kid playing. It looks like it's all unfolding. And just ridiculous thing after ridiculous thing keeps happening. You got the trolls.
The trolls on the train. Just all of them sticking their heads out with their little flappy. How are troll dolls such a big thing?
They have crazy hair.
Like, I remember having...
And we didn't have cell phones when we were in the 80s or 90s, so of course troll toys are popular.
I didn't necessarily remember, like, I was not obsessed with troll dolls, right? But I had a ton of them because they were always at yard sales. They were almost always, a nickel. They're one of those old toys that our generation collected. If we showed a Trolls dolls to our children, I don't know if they would understand it. And obviously our kids are a little too old now to play with toys, but I definitely don't think that they would have played with them as they were younger. Because, they're just weird, ugly, little, naked...
Trolls with bright hair. And,
you wanted to get your favorite color, and it had the little jewels, the belly button. Like, what was the point of that toy? But seeing them made me giggle so hard. Obviously, the Toy Story movies are timeless for children, and children will be watching them forever and ever and ever. And that includes, the toys created for the movie, like Buzz and Woody. So many of the toys in these films are toys that I played with.
Yeah.
And, the nostalgia of that is just, man, it's something wonderful.
But I love how it starts off, it looks like a Western.
Mm-hmm.
You got the train, the mountains, Woody being a cowboy. And then Barbie's car shows up.
Mm-hmm.
The train, the bridge blows up. The train goes down the cliff, but then Buzz Lightyear's there to bring it back up. So all these just random parts of the story just start getting crazier and crazier. Things that don't belong in the story. But that's the wonderful thing about kids play because we don't have. As kids, we don't have just one type of toy.
No, and we don't have inhibitions on our imagination the way that adults do.
And we bring in anything that could be used as just part of our own little imagination story.
Mm-hmm.
And we build on that. When I was a kid, I didn't just play with Transformers. I didn't just play with
you played
G.I. Joe.
Yeah,
but
you played with them both at the
my
same
Transformers,
time.
G.I. Joe, He-Man, and RoboCop toys all were,
I'd watch that movie.
Fighting against each other. They're trying to make that movie.
I know they are.
Minus RoboCop.
Yeah, but they're doing a Transformers G.I. Joe film.
Yeah.
Or at least they might one day. They've referenced it once or twice.
Talked about it for a while,
but legitimately
it seems like
reference
they're
it in the films.
Well, sure.
I mean, look, if Endgame can exist, why can't the Hasbro-verse, you know? Could you imagine?
It's just not going to be good, though.
No, well.
It's not.
Maybe?
It's not.
No, it's not. It's going to be awful.
Let's all admit right now. So I really love seeing a kid's imagination like that. And, we saw that in Toy Story 1 when he was playing with his toys when his mom's like, hey, you have this much time before we're leaving. And he's like, I think it was like 30 minutes. He's like, 30 minutes, huh? And he sets up this whole scenario in his bedroom and starts playing with his toys. And then, seeing old recordings of what his mom recorded when he was a kid playing with his toys.
Yeah.
Seeing how much he loved playing with these toys.
Nostalgia fucking hurts.
And then the way it just fades and turns to black. Mm-hmm. And they are inside the toy chest
box,
that
he's always had.
That he's always had, and that in the first movie, Woody gets upset that he was put in there while Buzz gets to go to the pizza.
Yeah.
Or gets played with, which I still reference that scene when the shark pops out with the hat. Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Howdy, 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 howdy.
Yeah.
Hey, who's got my hat?
Look, I'm Woody. Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Give me that.
And all of a sudden your heart just sinks because you're just like, oh shit.
Yeah.
He doesn't play with his toys anymore. He's growing
and he grew
up.
and
Not only is he he's not just grown up, he's going to college. He's a college age kid now. And he probably hasn't touched any of these toys in
it's
5
kind
years.
Of a miracle they're even still
8 years,
in
10
the
years,
room.
Right. That even a college age kid would even have that.
I mean, I had toys in my room as a college age kid, but they were like X-Files toys in the box on a shelf. It wasn't.
But the fact that the toy chest is even still there,
that's a miracle.
I
don't remember when I got rid of all my toys.
I was in my mid-20s.
Yeah.
Early to mid-20s, I can't remember. But I know I was 25 or less. And I had a bunch of toys still in not Tupperware, but big plastic buckets that were shoved into my closet. I was trying to make some space in my room, and I donated the large majority of my toys were donated to a school. One of the schools that I worked there for like a month. I had first generation Transformer toys that I've later realized are worth so much money. Well, in their box, and these were definitely not in their box. They were played with.
Always the case, though. Sure, if you had the foresight as a 5-year-old to not take your toy out of the box and leave it sitting on a shelf where it could go untouched and unbothered forever. Yes, you could sell it for a lot of money now, but
when I was 5, the 30-year-olds that were alive were 30 when I was 5 were the ones buying those toys and saving them.
My dad had a massive collection of in the bag McDonald's Happy Meal toys. He had full collections of all of them, right? Because in his head, these are going to be worth something someday. And I honestly don't know what happened to any of them, and I guess that in some cases it could have been. Some of the Beanie Baby ones I think were a little worth it if you put in the effort and found the right person on eBay. Yeah, sure, if you happen to have a full in the box Mego Batman 66 or Star Wars toy, that's going to be worth some money. But those stories of people selling off those things are rare, and I think that the collectors who saved these things and then flooded the market, I don't know. I don't think it's possible to make a lot of money off of your Beanie Babies anymore, Cynthia. Sorry. I knew a lot of people that were saving the tags on their Beanie Babies because they thought that they'd be worth something someday. And it's not. I mean, we have an extensive Funko Pop collection. It's insane. We spend a lot of money on it. I bet if you sat down and put in the effort to go through what some of these are worth, they might be worth some money. But we've got to find the person that's going to want to buy that exclusive Mr. Freeze Funko Pop that we have in the box.
That's the problem with any collection is it's really not worth.
It's worth what somebody is willing to pay.
For it. You got to find the person who wants to spend the money on it. So just because I've got a Mr. Freeze pop up there from the original Batman series that says it's $80, or at least, you know, when I was able to get a hold of it, it was worth $80. Now, with how Funko has flooded their market with, they've oversaturated themselves, and a lot of their pops have gone down in value. He's probably not even worth like $30 anymore.
Well, I mean, there's one selling on eBay for $60. There's one selling on Amazon for $74.
Yeah, but they're still on Amazon. Nobody's buying them.
Yeah, like
somebody will. There's always somebody who will be like, who'll see it one day.
Who's out there. I mean, like I said,
but it's going to take. Like, I even have a couple albums, records, vinyl records behind me. I have one of them that had been for sale on Discogs for over a year.
Yeah.
Without any takers.
What album?
It was I came into the possession of 2 of the same album from a membership club.
Oh, yeah. I remember this one.
Yeah, I forget why I have 2 of them.
Yeah.
But
you tried to sell one.
I tried to get rid of one.
Yeah.
And no
takers.
takers. And I think I wasn't the most expensive option in the bunch.
I mean, one of these Funko Pops sold on eBay recently for $50. Or maybe it didn't. I don't know. Like, that's just it. Like, these things are only worth what your people are willing to pay for it. And it's not like we have anything that's so rare and exclusive. I mean, if you were to drop your No Name album on Discogs, somebody would buy that up in a heartbeat, because that is a very limited pressing, and it's in good condition, and, you know, somebody somewhere would be like, they want how much? Great, I'll fucking buy it. But
and I have anything that was inside the
you have the whole kit and caboodle.
Anything that came with it, I still have.
But you know, that's a rarity, right?
Which is why that's not the one I was trying to sell.
I know, but I'm saying that if you were to be like, all right, it's time to sell this. Anyways, all of this to say here on Funko Pop Collection Mingle podcast.
We're talking about having toys, and at what age
you get rid of them. Going back to that, yeah. I don't remember like the big purges. I still know, in fact, I'm pretty sure we have it somewhere in this home of ours, is a box of my original My Little Pony toys, like the original from the 80s ones that I played with relentlessly. God, did I love those toys. And I can still smell them if I try hard enough. I can still smell that vinyl, gorgeous smell of my Little Pony toys. Our kids don't really play with toys anymore. We've gotten rid of our fair share. I mean, other than Lego and like their personal stuffed toys, they don't have toys like from their childhood that they're upset that they don't play with anymore. Was there a toy that you had growing up that you refused to get rid of that you still have? What was your toy that survived childhood? Mine's a gray teddy bear called Pudgy the polar bear, who will be with me until the end of time. Although, I think he's somewhere in the kids' room right now. I actually don't know where he is, and I feel bad about that. But Pudgy will always be with me. I will never purposefully get rid of him.
Yeah.
Not unless he's like, you know, somehow mangled beyond recognition, and then I will cry and give him a Viking funeral. You know, Pudgy is dear to me. Somewhere I have a little Spot the dog that I got as a child. You know, I guess for me it was the stuffed toys that I still have because they're dear to me. I know you still have your bear that your grandma made you.
Yeah, I have a puppet type bear that my grandmother hand knit for me.
Yeah.
Hand knit. It's stuffed. It's a proper puppet. It's got long legs and arms and Velcro. That's no longer the Velcro is no longer on there. The idea was that it could hug me while I held it. So you hold it in one hand while its arms and legs are wrapped around you. And yeah, of course I'm not going to get rid of that because my grandmother hand made that for me, and I played a lot with that bear growing up. And
I remember you played with it with our kids.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
My kids have cuddled Pudgy.
Still have it.
I mean, we will never, ever, ever, ever get rid of Jackie Bear.
No.
Which is our son's favorite teddy bear.
Yeah.
Oreo, our other child's favorite teddy bear. That's not going anywhere. But I guess stuffed toys are different.
Yeah, as far as like toys that you bought at a store that was in a box or whatever.
I mean, I'm just kind of like looking around our collection right now, but all I see is Funko Pop and Lego.
Yeah, I have like Star Wars collectible stuff that's like up there, but it was nothing that I had as a child. This is all adult me because I got rid of all my toys, so I had to
we had adult money that we fucked around with before we realized we should save it.
I had to make it up. I had to make up my loss of toys by buying toys again.
Buy more toys. I mean, God, like if we decided tomorrow to get rid of 80% of our Funko Pops, I would, in a heartbeat, just take it, go get it out.
Yeah, I got rid of all my G.I. Joes, Transformers. My parents still have my Lego collection.
Yeah, I mean, our Lego collection's out of control. Our Lego collection's out of control, but we do have.
But at least my Lego collection, at least the collection I have now, is all in one piece for the most part, except for with the cat knocked down.
Oh, the cat has knocked down. The cat has a vendetta against our Lego. It's upsetting. He really likes to go to the tallest spot in the house, and he has tried many times to knock down all the stuff on our shelves.
Everything my parents have is just pieces of Lego. Nothing's actually
and those
together.
Got use because our son goes over and goes crazy for.
Yeah, when my son visits them.
Yeah.
He plays with the Lego.
And every time we go to your parents, as we will be coming up here soon for Thanksgiving, we will have to sit around the table and play the Mad magazine card game that your parents have had since the 80s.
Yeah.
With the cards that are fraying, and if you sneeze wrong, one of them will turn to dust.
Maybe that's a Christmas present we should get them. Toys,
3.
Man. We create a special bond with our toys when we're kids, whether it's a bicycle, a pogo stick,
a teddy bear,
a slinky, especially when you straighten it out.
I was just about to say that.
I saw your eyes when I said slinky, and I was like, I gotta get there first.
You know me too well.
You know
me so well that you were just immediately like, I need to quote Egon. As soon as I heard the word slinky, I immediately just saw Egon in my head.
My parents didn't believe in toys.
You mean you never even had a slinky?
We had part of a slinky, but I straightened it.
Yeah, toys are very important to it. I mean, they are very important to children.
Absolutely.
It's a part of nurturing.
Learning,
it's part of learning.
Social, but you play with other kids.
Does come a time where you have to let go of childish things, and it hurts.
We're both in our 40s and we still have toys.
So many. That again, please, if somebody wants 80% of our Funko Pop collection.
We listened to a podcast. Where
the Ralph Report with Ralph Garman.
Sure, if you need to plug him.
Well, yeah.
He doesn't plug us, but...
No, but, we love Ralph. We've been fans for a long time now.
So he has had a pretty big Batman 66 collection.
An extensive Batman 66
collection. Like collectibles, toys, memorabilia of various sorts.
Screen-used costumes.
Yeah, screen-worn gloves is what
original artwork.
A cowl that Adam West himself put on, but didn't not in the show.
I thought it was a screen-used. I thought he had an official screen-used Batman.
Well, he said
outfit.
It wasn't.
Oh, maybe I was wrong.
When he was talking about getting rid of it. So that's the point.
Long story short.
He's turning 60 soon, and he's auctioning off all his
the bulk of his collection.
The majority of everything that he owned. He's keeping certain things, like things that were signed by Adam West, things that
some things from his childhood,
given to him from Adam West,
or his parents,
things that are very special to him that he doesn't want to give because of the meaning behind them, instead of just keeping them on a shelf or behind glass, just to be in a room to stare at. And I kind of get it, because all they do is just sit there and stare back at you and be like, haha, you remember how much money you spent on me?
Yep.
And collecting is fun.
But at a certain point.
It is...
You move on from it.
it. And, and that was emotional. That's kind of what Toy Story 2 did with, Woody and... Jesse and the rest of them were all going to be sold to a Japanese collector to just be put into a museum.
Yeah.
They were making like a proper
toy museum, or maybe it was a Woody
the Woody's
Special,
Roundup
yeah.
museum.
I really haven't seen that one in a hot minute.
And they were just going to sit there and be looked at by kids, as the movie says.
But not played.
But not played with. And, you know, I think toys were meant to be played with.
Yeah.
And this movie also makes me sad because I'm like, man, are my toys upset at me for abandoning them?
Well, I guess it remains to be seen whether or not toys actually come to life when you're not paying attention.
I have no proof that it can happen, but I don't have any proof that it couldn't happen.
I don't know. I used to worry about that too. I used to worry that I was giving one stuffed animal too much attention when I should have been giving it to another stuffed animal, but that's because I'm insane. I don't think they are. I think that there's a purpose that toys have, and I love that toys can be repurposed, right? I love that toys can be passed down, that they can go to a thrift shop or a daycare center and be played with endlessly. I mean, why, if you think about it, a daycare center is the perfect place for a toy, if a toy is sentient like that, because they get played with all day, every day. It's just whether or not it's ran by a psychotic
psycho bear. Which is why I was happy to donate my toys to a school that could play with them on a daily basis. And I'm sure they've all been torn apart and probably thrown away because of...
and they were replaced by somebody else's old childhood toys.
Right. And the circle of toy life.
The circle of toy life.
But it also makes me look at Andy, especially.
Yeah.
Because when I first, we watched
Andy
Toy Story when it first came out.
Yeah.
Andy is a little kid, and then 2 movies later he's in college, and it's like watching my own kids grow up. Our oldest is in high school already.
Kids grow up, and our kids have grown up.
No.
And now we have a high schooler, and we have a middle schooler, and we have tweens, teen tweens. One day, very soon, closer than either one of us likes, our son's going to hit puberty and his sweet little childhood voice is going to be gone. And that sucks. He's going to get a deeper man voice and he's going to be taller than me one day. And I don't like it. It's sad, but it's the progression. No. Change is hard on all of us. I actually wrote that down in our notes. That change is hard on all of us, but it's important.
Watching your children disappear right in front of your eyes is, your kid will always be your kid.
Yeah.
But there's childhood and then there's kids.
Yeah. It's funny, speaking of toys, I'm sitting next to a giant bin of one of our children's Halloween candy. And I just pulled out a little tiny container of Play-Doh, cracked it open for the first time, took a big whiff, gave Caveman a big whiff, and sure enough, Play-Doh fucking smells the same.
It's Play-Doh. After all these years, Play-Doh has not changed the smell of their product.
And I'm so glad for that.
Right?
Our kids played with Play-Doh constantly. I'm just so glad that it remains pure.
Such a specific smell.
And just the texture of it, just sitting here.
Like that.
You can make fidget toys all you want. Squeeze balls and pop-its and what-fors and why-nots. But just sitting here, just rolling this thing of Play-Doh in my hands is so satisfying. And slime could never be Play-Doh. No.
Slime is not as fun as Play-Doh.
No, because Play-Doh is fucking Play-Doh, man.
Play-Doh's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
So Toy Story 3.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, we're talking about that movie.
Yeah. Get back on track, maybe. Andy's grown up. He is going off to college. His mom wants him to clean his room.
Which is funny because I feel like, if you're going off to college at 17, maybe your childhood bedroom should stay the way it is. Yeah.
Parents, they want to turn their kids' bedroom into an extra office or something.
Into the computer room with a guest bed. Like yours was turned into.
Yes, mine was turned into
the computer room.
Well, it was a computer room. It was also
a guest room. Your brother's bedroom was turned into the art center.
The art.
Yeah.
The arts and crafts room. Yeah. Mine was the guest bedroom.
Yeah.
Andy's mom wants him to separate things into what's going in the attic, what's going to be donated, what's going to be trash.
Yeah.
Just like the first one where things get put into the
And the second one.
And the second one. Yeah, yeah. It's a running theme.
Where they have to inevitably escape a prison of some sort.
Yeah,
you know?
They get caught however they get caught.
Yeah.
And the movie is them escaping from whatever predicament they got themselves into.
Which, again, when you look at it, they're not great stories.
They are great
they're
stories.
Not imaginative. Like, they're great and imaginative and
they're
fun.
They're fun for kids kind of stories.
But they are kind of the same story every one.
This is what my toys do when I'm not looking.
They get caught into a prison of their own making that they have to escape from?
Yes.
Every time?
Every time. So hijinks leads to...
The daycare.
Yeah. Them running into lots of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of
hugs.
Lots of hugs. That's what it is. Everything seems on the up and nice and normal until...
It isn't.
The kindergartners get...
Preschoolers. Our hero toys end up in the, young kids' room, right? Because it's a daycare.
Yeah.
So there's, the really young toddlers, and then there's, the older kids, what Bonnie is. And this is definitely... Our toys end up with the toddlers who are... horrific to toys.
Who should not be playing with these toys.
No.
Or even doing the things they do. There are no adults keeping... the fact that Jessie gets her, hair covered in paint and...
I always assumed it was finger paint. But yeah, finger paint should be
small.
supervised.
Mr. Potato Head points out that he should not be played with. I'm for kids 5 and up.
Yeah.
Because he has small parts. His,
choking
most of these...
hazards.
Yeah, a lot of these toys have choking hazards.
Yeah, well, I mean, that doesn't make for fun movies.
No, it doesn't. No.
Yeah.
Across the way, Lotso Hugs and his
gang.
Yeah. Get to just live in paradise with the older kids.
Yeah. Yeah, and ultimately it's if you have to work your way up, right, from the bottom to the top to get to the better room. But
they make all the rules and all the decisions on who
does,
who doesn't.
And it's very sort of prison-esque, especially with the Southern Warden, played by Lotso Bear. I love the hijinks that go on in this movie. I love the escape that the toys have to go through. Mr. Potato Head turning into Mr. Tortilla Head. It's fucking hysterical.
Hilarious.
Yeah, especially when the pigeon starts picking at
him. So it's
what
part of Mr. Potato Head is the sentient part?
Yes.
And it's all his parts.
Yeah.
Every part of him.
In different ways. I mean, if Mrs. Potato Head can see out of both of her eyeballs, despite the fact that both of her eyeballs are
miles
apart. This does make me wonder, though. Mm-hmm. And I've asked this of Bob the Builder.
Where's his brain? No.
If toys and tools are sentient, who gives them that sentience? Is it God? And what tools and toys are and are not sentient? So in other words, is there a vibrator out there that desperately hates its life? Because, well, for any reasons, just saying, are there sentient sex toys out there in Bob the Builder / Toy Story world? I know it's a silly question. I know it's an adult question. It's a question I need an answer to.
And what toys get voices and what...
Yeah. I mean, the phone got a voice, but you had to talk to it like a phone.
Well, that's clever.
Yeah. I mean, why does Woody have a voice and also a voice box?
And does he get to choose? Well, we saw in... I can't remember if it was 1 or 2. I think it was 2. But his cord gets pulled, and which revealed that he was sneaking around.
Yeah.
And... So essentially, he can't control it.
No.
Once it gets pulled, it's going to make a noise.
Yeah.
But I always wondered if he got to at least choose
what came out
of it.
Yeah, or if it was just whatever the 5 phrases were. Yeah, I guess I've always wondered about the rules of the Toy Story, but then that becomes too adult thinking about.
But we also know that with his little encounter with Sid,
yeah,
that he could talk without moving his mouth.
Mm-hmm. So maybe he can control the voice box. I don't know. Want to talk about the incinerator scene? So ultimately, the toys manage to escape via the garbage chute. They all end up in a trash truck. They all end up at the dump, and then they end up being shuttled into
an incinerator.
First it's a giant like conveyor belt that chops down.
That's right. It makes everything smaller.
Which, you're not supposed to burn plastic. It is highly toxic. So I don't think that particular dump
just ignore
was.
It.
All right, fine. It's got sentient toys. We'll ignore the plastic's bad for you part. But I remember watching that incinerator scene for the first time and just fat, hot tears rolling down my face.
I thought for sure that was the way they were all going out.
Do you really think Disney would have done that, though?
I don't know what they were going to do. I don't know what they're capable of.
Well,
they've pulled at our heartstrings before with their previous movies.
Yeah, but they're not going to murder Woody.
We at the time thought that this was going to be the last Toy Story movie ever.
Yeah. You didn't know
and
how
it's
it was
like, where's this?
end.
Or if not all of them, then maybe one or two of them.
Yeah.
And because it didn't look like they were getting out of that.
I love that scene because I love the inevitable acceptance of everybody and the fact that they're all like, well, if we're going down together. They hold on to the people that they love, the toys that they love.
And then they just prepare for the end.
Yeah.
And it's so heartbreaking.
It is. It's also very quick.
It happened, yeah.
That scene happens fast. I don't remember it being over so quickly. And then all of a sudden
I was very happy. I was very happy this time.
Oh, my God. Like, but the way that they're saved. Oh, God, it's everything. Like, what a genius way to get them out of that, right? Is, of course, it's the aliens with the big, giant claw machine.
Yeah.
I love what happens to Lotso Bear, that he ends up on the front of a truck.
Of a truck, yeah.
Keep your mouth shut. And
I like that Baby and the clown get to go have
a good life again.
A good, proper life without lies and somebody trying to cover up stuff and
without somebody trying to manipulate them into evil.
Exactly. That's exactly what he did. And as much as that scene got to me when I first watched it, now that I've seen it, a dozen times, it's still in that moment when they're sitting there accepting their fate, locking arms.
It hurts a bit.
It hurts a bit because of their history together and them accepting the end. But it's not.
Yeah.
Nothing bad's gonna happen to him.
So what part made you ugly cry, Caveman?
When Andy is saying his proper goodbyes to his toys.
Yeah.
When he's taking each one out of the box and telling Bonnie the story behind each one of them and
the evil
what
Dr.
they like, what they do, their names, how he played with them essentially.
Yeah.
And each, and how, it's the perfect ending to a trilogy that should have just stopped at 3.
It really is the perfect ending to a trilogy that should have stopped there. That is a perfect ending to their story.
Absolutely.
Andy taking one last look at Woody and Woody going, "So long, partner," is one of the most devastatingly beautiful goodbyes on screen for any couple, friends, family members, or, it doesn't matter. For any two characters to say goodbye to each other, that is as devastating as they come. But as beautiful and poignant, because at a certain point, he knew, because Andy was going to take Woody with him.
Yeah.
Woody was going to be the toy.
He was going to take him with him. And then Woody slipped into the box.
Yeah, Woody chose to stay with his family, his kid.
Yeah.
And when Andy realizes that Woody's there, you can see a part of him. It's like, well, no, Woody's coming with me. Woody shouldn't be in this box. But as soon as Bonnie
gets excited, like,
there's a snake in my boot.
Yeah.
That, he realizes that Woody...
He needs to let him go.
Yeah, that he needs to let him go. And that's fucking beautiful, man. Like, it's fucking beautiful. And I haven't seen Toy Story 4, but I don't like the idea that in Toy Story 4, Woody chooses Bo Peep over his family of the other toys and his kid. Because that seems wildly against Woody's character, but of course I haven't seen the movie, so I can't speak to it properly. But
Andy's saying goodbye to his toys, realizing that he needs to now
grow up
and move on.
Find other toys.
More adult toys.
Or, a Game Boy or whatever.
Or whatever.
It's his Switch. Let's be honest, it's a Switch / his Xbox.
Kid's going to turn it all in for an Xbox and a cell phone.
Yeah.
A great movie, a great end to a great trilogy of movies, a great, end to a story that we've been watching since the 90s.
Mm-hmm. It grew up with us.
And it grew up, it was 18. This movie came out in 99, I think.
The original Toy Story?
Yeah.
I don't remember. One thing's for sure, while you look that up, if I know anything about anyone, which I don't, but I pretend to, is that Andy goes off and gets a Woody tattoo.
No.
Why not? You think that he didn't, see a really cool design of, a colorful, Woody's face, like a bust of Woody, essentially, the shoulders and up, and then, it's in a frame rope, a rope frame, and it's all colorful, and he has it on his arm. You don't think that Andy would go off and get a Woody tattoo? Because I sure as fuck think he does. Okay, man, we both have Star Wars tattoos. You're telling me that Andy isn't the type of guy to get a Woody tattoo?
Yeah, but that's a fandom from a movie, not
the toy that you played with?
Toy that I played with since I was a little kid.
Oh,
95? Oh my God, I was my daughter's age when I saw the first Toy Story.
I was 11. I was just a little bit younger than our son. Yeah, and then we watched the last movie right before we welcomed our child into the world. We grew with these movies, and that's why the ending hurt so much, and that's why it was so beautiful. And I think that's why you and I are both like, you know what? Toy Story 4? Nah, brah.
Toy Story 2 came out in 99.
Yeah. That was the only one I didn't... No, I know, I didn't see Toy Story 1 in theater. So Toy Story 3 was the only one I saw in theater. All the rest of them I saw at home. I think that what is important to us in our childhood stays with us.
The fact that there's a 20-year difference between Toy Story 2 and 4 is crazy. And then you add another 7 years onto that. There's a 7-year difference between 4 and 5.
When is 5 supposed to come out?
26.
Well, we'll see. It's going to be weird hearing Woody and Buzz sound so old.
What's also interesting, I think if Toy Story 4 ends with Woody going off with Bo Peep, just on the cast list, the way that IMDb is showing the cast list, because when you just look it up, when you just type in Toy Story, it just gives you all 5 movies, and you pick which one you want to look at. And from Toy Story all the way to Toy Story 4, it says Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, Tom Hanks, Tim Allen. And Toy Story 5 says Tim Allen, Blake Clark.
So we don't even know if Woody's back for this one?
We don't even know if Woody's back for this one.
Ugh. You know what? Pixar, like the rest of Hollywood, is not above kicking the dead horse that once got it around. So we'll see on Toy Story 5. Who knows? Maybe it's the best movie that we see that whole year if we see it. But,
I will say that there's a screenshot that IMDb has, and it says Toy Story 5, and it shows a kid under a blanket with a tablet, and you've got Slinky Dog, Rex, Woody, Ham, Jesse, the horse, Bullseye, thank you, Lightyear, and Sporky or whatever his name is, all looking at, they're all at the foot of the bed, looking at the kid who's paying attention to their tablet instead of them. Yeah, so they are showing Woody in it, but as far as cast list goes, so far we've just got Buzz Lightyear and Slinky Dog cast.
Well, we'll see. I mean,
maybe they could just be not revealing everything right away, which we still got
IMDb
2 years.
Isn't up to date on everything.
Not everything, no, but it's just one of those things where this all to say, I wish they just stopped at 3.
Yeah, I do too. Shall we get into the ratings? Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Let's rate it.
Okay. I would give Toy Story 3... I'd give it a 4, I guess. I'm kind of torn between a 3.5 and a 4, but I kind of have no reason to dock it down into the 3s. I definitely have no reason to give it more than a 4. I feel like a 4 is a bit of a stretch because of what this movie was, which was the end of a pretty wonderful trilogy that we grew up with and that we feel emotionally invested in. So that's probably the reason why it's getting a 4. You know, it's a cute movie. It's succinct. It gets to the point, which I deeply appreciate. It makes me cry because of fucking course it does. It does not make me cry as hard as other things have lately. I mean, God, there's been some episodes of Ghosts that have left me like completely inconsolable for a while. Like one fucking ruined my night the other night, and it's a comedy? I'd give it a 4 just for everything that it is and was, you know, and definitely not what it has become. But I give it a 4. What about you, Caveman?
I am stuck kind of in between a 4 and a 4.5.
Okay.
Because this is the end of something that's been in my life since I was 14.
Mm-hmm.
And it ends, I think they nailed the ending.
Yeah, it's a perfect ending to the whole story.
It's a whole, yeah. And rarely do you get a trilogy of films other than How to Train Your Dragon. Animated films, I should say, that really nail each movie and the trilogy in the whole and the story in the whole. And even live action trilogies don't even ever
there are very few
get
that
to do it.
Stick the landing as well
Usually,
as this one does.
The sequel, the third are usually, you know, like with The Matrix.
Mm-hmm.
2 was worse than 1, 3 was worse than 2.
But then you have like Star Wars where 2 is better than 1, and you know,
you
1's better than 3, but 3 is my favorite. And, you know.
Sometimes you get lucky.
Yeah.
Godfather 1 and 2, solid films. 3 could have been avoided.
But all this to say.
Well, all this to say, even though it's not my favorite Pixar film, but I'm still going to give it a 4.5.
Okay. I mean, that's fine. It's not flawless the way that like Ratatouille and WALL-E are for me, but you know, it's a fun film. I give it a 4. Anyways, Toy Story 3, it's a cute one. We love it.
So, Maggie.
Yes, Caveman.
I have 2 questions for you.
Hit it.
Caleb, what's your type?
Of girl?
No, of salad dressing.
Is that from Saturday Night Live?
No, that's Ex Machina.
Oh, okay, play it again.
Caleb, what's your type?
Of girl?
No, of salad dressing.
I love him so much. What a line to live. What a line to live. No, of salad dressing. Like, God damn it, I love him so much. I loved seeing Ex Machina with you on the IMAX screen, because seeing Oscar Isaac's arm vein that big was...
Oh, man.
Ew.
That was great. I loved seeing... There were 4 A24 movies released.
I still wish I had gone with you to see Midsommar.
Re-released into IMAX theaters for the first time in IMAX. And it was Ex Machina, Midsommar, Hereditary, and it was Uncut Gems.
Yes.
And Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh, yeah.
And Everything Everywhere All at Once is the only one that I didn't go see.
Yeah.
But
anyways, Oscar Isaac.
Yeah, first question.
Veins.
Would Oscar Isaac's voice have made Toy Story 3 a better film?
Sure. Yes. I probably would have enjoyed it a little bit more had he been in it.
I can't say it would have been bad.
I can't say it wouldn't have been bad. Like, it wouldn't have been worse. Right. You know, so sure, why not put him in there? His dulcet, beautiful voice.
So second question. Which character would you have had Oscar Isaac play?
Ken.
That's not a bad choice.
Not that Michael Keaton does a bad job. Michael Keaton's
great.
Flawless.
Yeah.
He's so fucking good. I couldn't see him as Lotso, because Lotso should have been played by an older man. Yeah. And then obviously we're not going to replace any of the other characters.
None of the original recurring characters.
I guess like he could have been one of Bonnie's toys. Anyways, he should have been Ken, because I would love to see and hear Oscar Isaac be Ken. He could have been the Spanish version of Buzz Lightyear, which we didn't talk about at all, but I do love Spanish Buzz Lightyear, and I love that his love for Jessie transcends all of his base wirings. It's like he just knows that Jessie is the one for him, and no matter what, he's obsessed with her. So yeah, Oscar definitely could have been Spanish Buzz, but I would have loved to have seen him as Ken. I think it would have been very funny. He would have been darling, you know, and why not? Like, why not put his beautiful voice in it? And I love that you're picking like new clips every time and making me try to guess what they're from. So,
well, you know,
it's fun.
I'm gonna run out of material eventually, though.
You can circle. He's got good lines from all of his films. It's not just one line from each film. You could easily do Poe Dameron's whole apparatus line.
It's just very hard to understand you with all the
Search him.
apparatus.
And that has been this week's episode of Movie Mingle on Toy Story 3, and we hope you enjoyed listening to it as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. Coming up next, we have our November bonus episode is dropping for The Sting, a classic movie that Caveman loves and I have never seen. So will I like it? Remains to be seen. And then after that, we've got our normal episodes, number 41, Glass Onion, which I'm very excited about because I think I liked it a lot more than Knives Out. So it'll be fun to compare and contrast. And that will be coming up next week. Also coming up in the near future, we're going to have a couple Christmas bonus episodes dropping in December and just your regular old movie mingle madness here for you every Wednesday. As always, you can find us on Letterboxd, Instagram, and Threads at MovieMinglePod. You can find us on YouTube at MovieMinglePodcast. And if you have any questions or comments, you can write us at movieminglepod@gmail.com. That email address is in the description of this episode. If you don't want to remember it, you can just click on the link and send us over all your thoughts and ideas and pictures of your favorite childhood toys. Why not? We would love to see them. We deeply appreciate our fans. You guys are the best, and we love you all so very much. So thank you for listening and being on this journey of 40 episodes with us. We can't wait to finish out the podcast with 35 more episodes, which is a lot, especially with the monthly bonus episode. Whew! So you're stuck with us for some time to come, and I know that we're really glad for that, and we hope that you are too. Feel free also to throw us out a review and or a rating on your podcast platform of choice. It's 5 stars, please. And until then, just please take care of yourselves in this big, big, mad world of ours. And just remember, you always have a friend in us. Now go mingle. Bye.
Are you an effective team?
We are an effective team.
Let them fight.
How did you just do that? I'm a really good lawyer.
Here on Caladan, we've ruled by air power and sea power. On Arrakis, we need to cultivate desert power.
Welcome, Mr. Beach. What's that bar? I'm a little confused.
Oh, we wouldn't want that, would we?
I don't want to brag, but I will. I was in the Avengers. The Avengers?
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you. What is that?
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
Toga, 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 toga.